Welcome guys. Today we are going to see second game on coordination and harmony in the strategy in chess strategy, and the second game here is played by Capablanca. The white player is Capablanca and black charges. It's played in New York 1915. It's a Ruy Lopez game. It's an open Ruy Lopez, and let's go through the opening fast. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, bishop B5, A6, bishop A4, knight F6, castles, knight takes E4, D4, B5, bishop B3, D5, DE5, and bishop E6, C3, bishop E7, knight BD2, knight C5, and bishop C2, guys. Bishop C2, I think all the moves are theoretical until here, and now after bishop C2, D4, D4, here the black players plays actively. Here another idea would be to play bishop G4 with the idea of transferring the knight to E6. This was more flexible option, and now knight E4 and dc3. So black wants to damage white's pawn structure, but even isolated the white pawns would not be weak. Okay, so instead of this, the black player should have chosen d3. So now after knight takes c5, after knight takes c5, d takes c2, queen takes d8 check, and rook takes d8, and knight takes e6, f takes e6, f takes e6, bishop e3, rook d5, and rook fc1, and knight takes e5, rook takes e5, and rook takes c2, king f7, with a visual but not significant advantage for white. So after d3, knight takes c5. Okay, if knight takes c5, then if black goes bishop takes c5, then what happens? Then bishop takes this. So it would have been a mistake by black to take the knight after knight takes c5. So then, but black didn't go d3, he instead went dc3. After dc3, knight takes c5, bishop takes c5, bishop e4. Here if black would have gone cb2, c takes instead, if black would have gone c takes b2, this would have been a mistake, because after bishop takes b2, if the bishop takes c5, then bishop e4 comes. After bishop e4, and if the queen tries this, then there is queen c1, and if instead bishop d7, then rook c1 is coming. So now it was right to play bishop takes c5, and after bishop takes c5, bishop e4, queen d7. If instead black played instead of queen d7, if he played queen takes d1, rook takes d1, and bishop d7, b takes c3, gives white an extra tempo. So this is not good for black. So after bishop e4, queen d7, bc3, rook d8, queen takes d7, check, and bishop takes d7 and rook d1. It is an illusion that black's position is comfortable. His centralized forces are mostly hanging. The c3 pawn is actually very strong, restricting both the black's knight and bishop. Black's queenside pawns are exposed. Also, the space advantage for white is obvious. Black must proceed with precision. Knight e7. Black simply eliminates tactical shots and is ready to reactivate this knight. Capablanca goes for his trademark moves, establishing harmony while causing chaos in opponent's camp. If instead of knight e7, if black would have gone castles, then it would have given white the chance for the tactical blow, that is bishop e3. Bishop e3, bishop e3, and after bishop takes e3, rook takes d7, and rook takes d7, bishop takes c6, and rook d3, and f takes e3, rook takes c3. Although black is actually okay here, it is still very difficult to give such an opportunity to Capablanca. So there would have been two minor pieces for the rook. So black didn't go this way, and after knight e7, there is knight d4, and this is an multi-purpose move. White takes control over the f5 square, keeping the black minor pieces passive for a while. At the same time, the f2 pawn is no longer pinned and may support the pawn on e5. And perhaps most importantly, white will soon occupy the weak c5 square with great effect. h6, preventing bishop g5, knight b3, bishop b6, bishop a3, and the bishop goes to the other diagonal. White's strategy has helped him achieve a great deal. There is a notable difference in the piece activity and harmony. Please also note another very important fact: black is out of any active pawn play, while white has a clear plan of using his kingside majority. The principle is, he who doesn't have a reasonable plan for pawn play is actually in big trouble. h5, this is solid. Black wants to stop white's pawn avalanche and is also getting ready to activate the rook using the 6th rank. Rook d3, Capablanca's technique using the 3rd rank for maneuvers. Bishop g4, rook takes d8 check, king takes d8, knight c5, rook h6, h3, bishop c8, rook d1 check, king e8, and king f1. The previous moves were natural. The king gets closer to the center, g5, preventing f4. Now, however, the black pawns on the king side are exposed. Knight d3, preparing bishop c1, and after f5 ef6, rook takes f6. Black has somehow activated his pieces, but he is still in trouble. In return, he has exposed his kingside pawns, and more importantly, his king is under attack. Rook e1, very nice. Capablanca supports his initiative by making threats on the e file. Bishop e6, bishop f3. Black's pieces are hanging on the e file. White attacks the h5 pawn while opening the file for the rook. Rook h6. Instead h4. If instead of rook h6, if he played h4, then knight e5. Knight e5, and black is hopeless. There is no reasonable move for him. So then after rook h6, there is bishop takes h5, king d7, and bishop g4. The game is over. The rest is simple. The technical part of the game was a never issue for the ingenious Cuban. Knight c6, rook takes e6, rook takes e6, bishop c1, king d6, bishop takes e6, bishop takes e6, bishop takes g5, bishop a5, bishop d2, knight king d5, h4, knight e5, knight takes e5, king takes e5, h5, c5, g4, king f6, king e2, c4, f4, king f7, king f3, bishop d8, and it is over, guys. I think you would have enjoyed this game, and let us meet in the next game. Thank you.